How do email alerts and actions work in a campaign? Is that
She sent out a newsletter.
right? A newsletter. So we at Progress Now, that's our bread and butter. We email. Well, we have 360,000 Coloradans in our people in our network. So we can send out an email to 360,000 people pretty much with a click of a button. To say James Dobson did X, sign our petition to call for him to do Y. We have a lot of success with that for a couple of reasons, and it's a little different what we do than it is for campaigns. Hold on, let me just finish my thought, and then I'll get to your question. We have a lot of success with that, and between Move On and what we're doing and the political campaigns doing, like how to use email as a campaign tool is an evolving science. People spend, that's what I do for a living. Well, I make videos for a living, but my group, that's what we do, is we try and find out how to get people active by contacting them with email. And it can be hugely successful if you have an interesting subject line that people will want to read. If you have a call to action within the email that's concise. If you keep it short and short enough that you still have some substantive information in it, but not so long that people read 2 paragraphs and fall asleep.
And if your subject line doesn't get caught in someone's spam filter.
Spam filters are a whole nother ballgame, that's just what you have to.
If you're too cute and clever.
One of the problems with Democrats, progressives, people on the left, is that we like to lie. We like to say, "Man, James Dobson said stem cell research is like Nazi atrocities. He's a bully." So what's that get us? The key to online organizing and action is their strength in numbers. 360,000 people. How do you get 10,000 signatures on a petition in 2 days in the real world? It's really hard. With online activism, we can do that. We can send out an email saying, James Dobson said this. People are pissed off. So they're ready to do something. They're ready, as my boss Bobby Clark says, they're ready to lean forward and type. So you give them a way to do that. Not, wah, he's a bad guy, but sign this petition so that we're going to send to, Focus on the Family's headquarters that says he needs to apologize, to every Nazi Holocaust survivor that went through something like that.
So move them to action.
Yes. Don't whine. Don't say, this person is a bully. Don't like him, say, this person is a bully, we're going to do something about it. That's one of the biggest keys in email activism.
When you say you've had tremendous success, how do you measure success? And how do you know you're having success?
People keep funding. That's a cynical way to state it, and I probably shouldn't have been my first answer, but national organizations have said, what you're doing is successful, we're going to fund it. How many people heard the term both ways Bob in the last election? Who knows who coined that term? Mark Kaufman coined that. Or Mike Kaufman, not Mike Kaufman. The guy who was in the primary against him. No, Kaufman's the Secretary of State. Holtzman, Mark Holtzman. His Bob Beaupre's competitor in the primaries actually coined that term. But the Republicans didn't give both ways. They didn't run with that. Guess who did? It was my group that took that term and beat it like a dead horse. I made 3 online videos with that term. We got mobile billboards and we had a contest on our website and we said, here's a picture of Bob Beaupre. Caption it. The winners we're going to put on this gigantic mobile billboard and have it drive around town when the president comes in to speak for him. We did flip-flops. We did the Both Ways Bob flip-flops, and we sold 500 pairs of flip-flops that had his face on it in Both Ways Bob. We created and maintained the bothwaysbob.org website. We just slammed it. Every time there was any press around it and they wanted a comment from us, we were like, Both Ways Bob, blah, blah, blah. We just beat it to death. So he got destroyed in the election. He did the 70%. He said that the abortion rate among African American women was 70%. He said that on a Grand Junction radio station. The moment that we heard that he said that, we sent out an email to everybody. His approval ratings from that point on, if you watch the numbers, he dropped. And he was consistently 17 points below his competitor from that moment on. And we just kept hammering him. Both ways, Bob. He said this. You know, he turned his golf course into a water. He turned his dairy farm into a water guzzling golf course. He's not really a dairy farmer. You know, just every way you can hit him. And we did that all with email, with video, with online competitions. Sorry. Okay, I think I got one.
I just want to qualify that. I really feel it's entirely fair to suggest to you that everything you've done that works everywhere else has to be reworked in El Paso County.
I don't disagree with you. And in my free time last year, we're a C3, C4 organization, so we can't do work to support candidates. Our C4 arm can do work to say, both ways Bob is a really bad guy because here's his record. But we can't say, vote for Bill Ritter, because that's not what we're allowed to do.
I think that what you've been very successful at is identifying the people who already agree with you and making them lean forward and type and write a check.
Right.
What needs to be done in El Paso County is to identify the people that aren't voting that would be with us if we could figure out how to contact them.
You were kind of right in that assessment that we identify the people that already agree with us and get them to lean forward and type. The other thing we do is there's this term called influentials. And for an opinion, so say you're sitting in a room of 10 people, there's probably going to be one influential. That's just how the stats work out. It's kind of like gays. There's like 1 in 10. I don't know who figures that out. But there's one person that reads every blog in the morning and watches every news show on Sunday morning and knows everything. And they get in a room with 9 other people. They start talking and they sound like they know a lot more than you do. And you're kind of like, oh, I didn't know that about that person. And then you're five days later, you hear something about that person, and you're like, oh, that person who seemed like they knew a lot said X about that person. So my view of that person is jaded. We call those people influentials. Influentials are the people that typically lean forward and type on our website. When we send out an action alert, people that aren't paying attention, they're not leaning forward and typing, but the people that are influentials are leaning forward and typing. So yeah, maybe we got 100, maybe we got 1,000 signatures, but in the process, we probably reached another 10,000 people through the influentials that we reached. So you can't underestimate the fact that, yes, we get the people that are already on our side to work for us, but then they go out and they're influentials in the community. You are right about El Paso County, and I do have a Jay Fawcett's campaign down here. He didn't win, but I think, I don't know, I don't live down here, but I think he made a dent where nobody else has made a dent before. And there were some things about that campaign that they did in El Paso County. Wanda James, who ran his campaign, was great about using the internet, using email, using YouTube. When Doug Lamborn at the very first debate told the guy in the audience, why don't you just shut up? I don't know if anybody you guys saw that, but that became one of the most viewed videos on YouTube that week. It had 80,000 views on YouTube. I then took it and had a little fun and made my own shut up video, which I would show you if I could.
Is that the one that said it like 20 times?
Yeah, with the, you know, Bugs Bunny and all the people in between. Did you see that?
Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah. What's that?
Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah, Bill O'Reilly. There was, yeah, just shut up. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that was I had fun with that. So they did a good job kind of using, because they didn't have as much money. They didn't have the numbers. The Democratic Party down here is infamous for not really being organized and not really stepping out to help yet, and it's not their fault, you know, I mean, it's the nature of the beast. I'm not saying that to be critical, I'm just saying that's the reality of the campaign he had to work in. And she had to use the internet, she had to use email, and she did a great job with it.